Pay me, pay me, pay me my silver now. Pay me or go to jail. Pay me my silver
Hey guys,
now.
that's where roadtoruta.com. It is Friday. It'll be interesting to see the commitment of traders report. The SEC and the CFTC released a joint statement saying they're going to work together in regulating cryptos. We're going to make this regime the place to be. What's it been? 15 years since cryptos have been out, and it's taken them this long to start to make the rules. There still are no laws, but they're starting to make rules without laws. But that's par for the course with our regulators and show me the law where we have to pay taxes. Show me the law, not the regulations, not the codes. Show me the law. And yeah, the crypto rules and regulations. It's rich that the United States is looking to itself as be the arbitrator of how well cryptos are going to be dealt with. The whole world has moved on. The U.S. has basically shown the world that they're freaking idiots or criminal. And the other thing about cryptos, and the reason it hasn't been well regulated, is because it's a deep state operation. I love cryptos. I just wish the deep state didn't own them all. And they do, probably 70% of them, and they run the digital currency group. Look that company up, see how many companies they own. It's criminal, but hey, there is a way to get rid of it. Just enforce Reggie's patent. Anyway, I talked about that with Jenny Moonstone. I just posted on the private road right here, $50 insight for 2025. We talk about that. The younger generation of silver, this will be big. This is going to be one of the key drivers, along with solar this year. The younger generation is going, according to Jenny's reading, the younger generation is going to start coming in. And that is going to be massive for silver. We saw how they got into cryptos and got all excited about that. And then some of them took a dump and they're like, I don't want to go through that again. I'm going to have half of my cryptos in silver because the upside for silver is massive and the downside is very, very, very limited due to the games that the riggers are playing. So go check that out, that discussion at the private road, roadtoruta.com. All right, let's talk. This is going to be a brief one. Silver started to run. They knocked it down. These are not organic trades. This is all done with computers programs. Whether or not they were able to cover any of the silver shorts by then. They're trying to get, right now what's going on is, the major rig is still on. It's still under the control of the computer programs, originally written by Greenspan, taken over by the call. We all know these stories. But there are entities, large entities, the banksters, bullion banks that are trying to get out of their silver short position. The price keeps rising, and they're barely getting out any. So it'll be interesting. And who's taking over that short position? Probably BlackRock and a couple entities working for the deep state, probably, or potentially the government. I don't know. There's good guys and bad guys on every side of this game. The only way you can survive it is to have physical silver in your own possession. The physical silver is for the destruction of the old system, the ending of 170 years of silver price manipulation, price suppression. Cryptos are for the future. So I don't know what price cryptos are going to do during the collapse. It doesn't matter to me. I've got my cryptos in my own possession, and whenever the collapse happens, the cryptos will take over long after that. So yeah, that's just kind of nice to have and sock it away. But silver versus gold, gold should double or triple, and you gold bugs, you won't be as happy as you think you will because silver will go 1-to-1 with gold, which is like 100x. These days, 88 to 1 right now, 89 to 1, something absolutely ridiculous. If you own gold, I think it's the worst thing to own when it comes to precious metals, which is like there's 4 of them. Why? Because there's so much more gold than they're telling you. So much more. Like 10 times the amount. There's not 200,000 tons. There's 2 million tons. And a lot of it is in the hands of a lot of different entities. China's been buying 2,000 tons a year for the last 30 years. Yeah, that's a lot and a hell of a lot. And that's not in anybody's books. How much does the U.S. government really have? The rumor was a while back there's a mint making coins in the Grand Canyon with all the gold they found there. I know there's a military base. A lot of things, a lot of really interesting stuff coming out about the Grand Canyon, and there will be more. Jenny and I talk about the mud flood and Tartaria and all that woo-woo stuff that isn't so woo-woo when you check what's really going on underground. Everybody's talking about underground in Egypt now. There's this labyrinth it's a massive place. Not just those pyramids on top of the ground that we probably knew about them all along, but yeah. Are we down there? I don't know. We've probably been down there. If we knew they were there, if we knew it all was there, who gets to go down? I heard the Clintons went down one New Year's or something like that. I don't know. Very interesting. And who controls that underworld type of thing? Anyway, go check that out. That's the fun stuff on Road to Root. As far as silver rigging, it's the same. I do expect it to, Jenny and I talked about pricing for this year. Go check it out. But I do expect 50 to be breached this year. And Jenny was a no on that. She was like between 40 and 50 for a very long time. And I got a maybe out of her this time. Well, out of the cards, basically. But here's something really interesting that I want. This is me speaking to all you silver YouTube people or silver advocates. Nobody's talking about what's happening in solar silver. Again, this is the biggest story in the history of silver. The silver being used in solar panels should be talked about en masse. And all you YouTube guys out there with silver, you're not even talking about it. I went through X. Nobody is talking about solar silver except me. There's so many great things on solar, and it's so obvious. But I'm like the only videos. There's another Bix video. There's another Bix video on solar silver. Where are your YouTube silver people? Do you not understand what's happening? Our beloved Silver Institute has silver as, right here, in 2025, dropping 1%. The amount of silver used in solar, the Silver Institute, in their projections for 2025, have it dropping 1%. We already know that silver in the first half is up 67%. 67%. No, they're not thrifting 66%. These are liars. These are criminal cheaters. They're purposely posting fake news. And then the industrial, they say, is going up 0%. Well, let's ask Grok. What percentage growth does the global electric vehicle market have? The global electric vehicle market's growth rate for 2025 varies across sources, but here are the key figures. The International Energy Agency and Bloomberg report that the global EV sales are expected to increase by approximately 25% in 2025. This follows a 35% in the first quarter. And more silver is going into the electric cars, not less. And it's not an ounce and a half. The electric cars, anywhere from the low estimates are 5 ounces, the high estimates are 50 ounces. It's somewhere in there. It's not the half an ounce or ounce and a half. They say almost an ounce for regular cars and ounce and a half for electric. That's bullshit. Bullshit. Anyway, why is there no growth when we know the solar panels are booming 67% in the first half of the year? And the Silver Institute is quiet. And so are the silver YouTube people. There's so many of us. Come on, guys. Get on it. Get on that silver thing. Figure it out. It is the most important thing happening in silver right now. No, the price is going to 40 or 50. I don't give a shit about the price, and you shouldn't either. You should care about how many ounces of silver are left before it is gone. I'm going to show you something that's going to blow your mind. Incentivizing Elon. Tesla offers Elon Musk an unprecedented $1 trillion pay package. The same leftist activist judge who torpedoed Elon Musk's Tesla pay deal earlier in the year will likely go berserk over the company's latest plan, a jaw-dropping 10-year, $1 trillion compensation plan for the billionaire. This is the largest in the history of corporate America. Then again, when you're running a company positioned to dominate the 2030s from EVs to robots to chips to AI and make U.S. competitive against China, in these critical technologies, it starts to make sense. Bloomberg reports Musk's trillion-dollar pay package over 10 years is contingent upon achieving ambitious growth milestones such as Musk must expand Tesla's robotaxi business and increase the market value from $1 trillion to $8.5 trillion. What is missing from this entire discussion of Musk getting a $1 trillion pay package? The availability of silver would end Musk's reign. If you're a leftist and you want to take care of Elon Musk and get him out of the picture, go buy every ounce of silver you can. Because everything that is talked about here requires massive amounts of physical silver, and there's just not going to be an ounce around. It will be unobtainium. It has been misallocated into solar panels, into electric cars, and just so many other things. I think the electric cars is a good place for silver to go. Solar panels, no. But that's the vast majority, over half, well over half of what is mined this year. Probably 450 to 500 million ounces are going into solar. No matter what, the idiot, there's only one guy over at the Silver Institute, Mike DiRenzo, and he's an ass. No matter what he says, we know. Because, and the problem that Mike DiRenzo and the Silver Institute are having is that the numbers for solar power installations are tracked very closely by governments because they're trying to fix the Green New Deal bullshit, right? So if they're tracking the installations so tightly and closely, we know pretty much exactly how much solar power is being installed around the world. And when they tell us that the first half of the year it's up 67%, it just rings just like 2023 when the Silver Institute only reported half and changed all their numbers. All their historical numbers had to be changed because they wanted to lie. What are they going to do this year? Change the numbers again? Or are they going to report, oh my God, the amount of silver used in solar is up 67%. Red alert, red alert. That's what they try to stop. And that's why they put the amount of silver used in solar and just general industrial is 0% and minus 1% for solar for the forecast of 2025. That's probably the biggest miss in the future, in the entire history of economic guesses, economic forecasts for the future. That is probably the biggest miss in history. And yet they're silent. The Silver Institute hasn't said anything about these massive things happening right now. In AI, in electric vehicles, in solar. Nothing coming out of these assholes. These asshole. One guy, Mike DiRenzo. It's the only guy who's there. He reminds me a lot like Jeff Christian. Why was Jeff Christian put as like the only guy on that side? Because he came from Goldman Sachs and they said, you do this. We can't be the ones telling people, or they'll scrutinize us. You tell people to stay away from silver. You tell people that this is a freely traded market. No one believes Mr. Jeff Christian. He's been an ass since the day I met him 15 years ago. The Silver Summit. He lies through his teeth. It's shocking. And he said, well, I know because I've been there. He's a jackass. And it's embarrassing when he every 2 minutes now he's putting out a new YouTube video trying to talk down silver. I'm like, everybody knows what's going on. Massive amount of silver is needed. The 170 years of silver price suppression is about to end. You want to be in as much silver as you can right now. If you live in the U.S., pre-65 coinage all the way. And Silver Eagles. Why do I like those? Because at some point they will be nationalizing or making it harder for people to get their hands on silver. It's kind of hard for them to confiscate the old money or the current money, gold and silver that has been made by the mint and denominated by the mint. It's kind of hard to say, oh, we're nationalizing that, and it's a global market. So it's not the cheapest. Well, the pre-65 is pretty cheap these days. But if you live in the U.S., it's the best. And if you live in a different country, sovereign coins probably is your best bet. Anyway. So, yeah, I think that's quite interesting. I'm reading this, all I'm thinking is, and I do think, Tesla, they're making these robots already that are going to take over the world. in 5 years, there'll be more robots, AI robots, doing all our tasks than people. That's just 5 years out. That's nothing. The world's changing very fast, and you have to change with it. What does Cliff say? We have to be dynamic, not static. If we're static, we're dead. Like, literally dead. You got to keep moving. You got to keep your eye on the ground. Just figure out what's going on. Position yourself to take care of your friends, your family, and yourself, and lead a good life. Because everything is changing very fast. We've got what do we got? The Chair Powell is going to change the interest rates on the 17th. Everybody's expecting 0.5%, so it's going to be 0.5%. Does it really matter? No, because all prices are determined based off of the computer programs that they set the stuff to. Now, the good guys, I think, are in charge of those computer programs now, or for the most part. And they can take out the bad guys anytime they want. And it doesn't even have to be by using the derivative market to rig things. It just has to stop the old rigging, or even pause the rigging of silver as the world runs out of silver. And by the way, a lot of the silver bars in SLV, the word is they are fake. They are molybdenum filled. Molybdenum has a very similar density to silver. And the bars that are there, but they don't even have the full accounting of the bars. I would not be surprised if Elon goes for every one of those bars. He's got to make his $1 trillion. He's going to need a hell of a lot of silver to do it. Anyway, that's what I got for you. Short one today. I'll be posting for this weekend. I'll be posting for the private road members. The COT report comes out. Very interesting things going on. Yesterday was the last day for the fourth CFTC member to leave. The commissioners, there's only one left. Caroline Pham, Citibank person. So there's basically there's no what, guarding the hen? The fox? Yeah, the fox is guarding the hen house. That's it. So yeah, I do expect fireworks between now and the end of the year. We're above 40. We're staying above 40, and if it dips below, it'll dip below briefly. They can't dip it too deep, or India still hasn't made their big silver purchases yet, and they might have to jump in, change their MO, which is buying below the moving averages. They need massive amounts for their solar program. Yes, they have a huge solar program too. So does Africa. So does everywhere in the world. So does the U.S. Truthfully, it's not as big as everybody else's. So everybody knows that, and the theory that you put in a solar panel, you're basically locking up silver for about 25 to 35 years, and then that silver is still there when you tear down the old solar panels. Maybe it's a little savings account, and you can get away with it because, hey, we're trying to save the world here. We need as much silver as possible. And the banker's like, shit, we can't do that because we're short. So they're trying to get out of their short. That's where we are. That's the take. We are currently giving away one Veritasium token. That's the more and more I think about it, I look at what Trump's doing and with the cryptos and all that. His big problem was the deep state owned all the cryptos. I think he's going to throw a little Veritasium monkey wrench in that thing, and because 90%, 95% of the cryptos are in violation of Reggie's patent, especially all you XRP people. He literally outlines doing foreign exchange swaps with Veritasium, and he had it patented long before XRP even tried. And XRP is a con, part of the deep state. Anyway, that's my take, at least. Hey, don't believe me. Place your bets, ladies and gentlemen. This is Bix Weir. RoadToRoot.com. I'll talk to you later.